Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Solutions with Aquarius Rising Africa. And I'm beyond delighted to have with me on our show today Michael Tellinger. Wow, Michael, you're a very well known South African and have done some amazing things. Amongst others, you're a scientist, an explorer, a politician. You're also one of the most uh, best-selling exported authors of South Africa as well. And I know specifically with The Slave Species of God, your book. So that's amazing. So firstly, I just want to welcome you and thank you so much for joining us here today. How are you?
Hi, Chantelle. Lovely to know you. Lovely to meet you. Thank you for reaching out to me.
Absolutely.
This very few interviews that I'm doing in recent times, and I decided to do this with you because you're a South African platform, and I like to carry on promoting South African platforms and news media and podcasts because it's important that we start supporting each other here in South Africa. Thank you for the introduction, and I look forward to the chat.
Absolutely. And I think, you're also a founder of the Ubuntu movement, which from, what I can see is the birthing of the One Small Town movement. Now, I am so interested to know about that because I've been reading up on this. And firstly, I just want to find out, where did the concept, what are the origins of Ubuntu / One Small Town? Because that is really incredible. So how did that come about?
Well, everything in our life is connected. Our life is really a rehearsal. Everything we've done in the past has been a rehearsal for what we're doing today. And
Yeah,
how I
absolutely.
see my life. I came from a musical family. I went to Wits University in 1979. I graduated from the medical school, Wits Medical School, from the School of Pharmacy with a Bachelor of Pharmacy degree, 1984. So I was very involved, very interested always in the arts, culture, but also biology and genetics was always one of my favorite subjects. And once I graduated, I realized that most of the stuff I was taught at university was complete nonsense and waste of time and waste of energy. It really didn't go to the core of a true knowledge and a base of knowledge and understanding what our bodies are, how they function, and how we heal. And I started to become interested in alternative medicines and alternative healing, and importantly, alternative knowledge, which is all part of it. I
Yeah,
got dragged into the mystery of our history, the origins of humankind. And that, as you know, the moment you start going down that rabbit hole, you start to discover things that are kept out of our education system. A lot of the really critical works that should be taught at school are posted as conspiracy theories and so forth. And so very quickly you start to navigate on the fringes of mainstream academia because you're not playing by the rules. So most of my life, I've literally been skating on the fringes of mainstream academia, although I'm a graduate from a very prestigious medical school in the world. And yet, the moment you leave and you don't agree with what they teach, then you become a fringe individual. So that's
absolutely.
just been through. I've been through from any kind of academic institution knows exactly what I'm talking about, and that goes for all people. The moment you start to disagree with the mainstream narrative, mainstream media, mainstream TV channels and news channels, and all the disinformation that they shove down our throats, then you are a conspiracy theorist and so forth. So I started to research origins of humankind, and before I knew, I had so much knowledge and information that I had to write a book. So I wrote Slave Species of God, which really deals with the very murky and undefined origins of humanity, humankind, the different race groups, which remains a huge problem and a very interesting and an important problem to deal with. When I say a problem, I mean the dichotomy of the origins of different races on Earth. It's a fantastic subject to go into, and an important subject to deal with, and so much more. But the true origins of our species is one of the most critical subjects that people need to explore. And the moment I went down that rabbit hole and started to discover new knowledge and information, and based very much on genetics, on biology, on real science, I started to realize that everything we've been taught is very far removed from the truth,
Yeah.
and that, then you start to realize that our history books are written by the victors. Those that win the wars rewrite the history books the way they want the narrative to read, and then you realize, okay, I've got to start to find a new way through this quagmire of disinformation. So by after releasing Slave Species of God, I was very fortunate to discover the ancient civilizations of Southern Africa, and specifically South Africa, and the ancient ruins of South Africa that have become known as the stone circles of South Africa, that I've then, since 2007, started to research and became I guess, the premium researcher, the number one researcher into the stone circles. And I've written 2 books about it. I've done hundreds of lectures and videos on it. We've gathered, and I have gathered with a number of incredible minds and researchers and scientists since 2007. Incredible volume of research and information about the ancient vanished civilizations of South Africa that go back more than 300,000 years, right here under our feet, that left behind the largest concentration of ancient ruins on Earth. And this is new to many people around the world, especially South Africans. We in South Africa sit on the largest concentrations of ancient ruins on Earth. Anyway, and so I created a little museum here in Waterval-Boven. I started to promote the stone circles and the tours. And with that information came the discovery of the origins of money and where money comes from, how money was first created and introduced to the human race. And that was a big shock to me. So I realized that the way that money was introduced to humanity is not what we are taught at school, not what is taught in accounting school or academic or the courses and graduation or degrees connected to money and economics and so forth. Everything we get taught of what money is, where it comes from, how it so-called evolved, and why we use it is a complete lie. And the moment I discovered the true origins of money, I'm not going to go into it now because it's in my book, and it's especially in the Ubuntu book in great detail. Many of my videos on YouTube, I go through it. So please go find it and explore it to really enlighten yourself. But the Ubuntu book is the one that goes through it in great detail. And that made me realize that we don't need money, that money is really just a tool of enslavement that's been inserted into humanity. And with that came the questions. What will happen if we remove money from the system? How will that work? And that became, for me, the most exciting journey of discovery that I highly recommend to everyone alive today. Go through that process yourself. Ask yourself the question, what would happen tomorrow morning if I woke up and money did not exist? How would we survive? What would we do? Please do it, and you'll realize what an incredible exercise that becomes. And the more I started doing this in 2005. So that's how far the origins of the One Small Town, the Ubuntu movement, goes to 2005. And the more I thought about a world without money, the more I realized that that's the way we should live. And the moment you remove money from society, you free up the society and our communities to achieve their highest potential, because then everything we do is done towards the well-being of the community, prosperity and abundance, and not for financial domination by a small group over the rest of the people or the rest of our community.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
so that then I went through a period of about 2 years of really evolving this philosophy of how we could live without money. And that led to the concept of the One Small Town, or the Ubuntu movement first. And out of that evolved the One Small Town philosophy, because I realized that, we can't take money out of the system. It's simply impossible. So we have to start to create a new system that slowly but surely migrates away from that and creates a new system that makes the current system obsolete. And that's what many great wise people before me have been saying for many, many years, that you can't fight the system. Or to change a system, you can't do it by fighting it. To change a system, you create a new system that makes the current system obsolete. And in essence, that's what we're doing with the One Small Town initiative. We are creating such a powerful platform for people to get re-excited, reunited, to cooperate, to collaborate, to work together towards the greatest benefit of everyone in the community, for prosperity and abundance for every single member of that community, and creating prosperity and abundance in food and healthcare and technology and engineering and everything, including money. And this is important to stress. So we're not fighting money. We're not pushing it out the system. In fact, we're using what I call the tools of enslavement as tools of liberation, and money being the number one primary tool of enslavement. So we're using money as the first tool to help our communities become prosperous and abundant. But then as it grows and as it evolves, people start to realize that we don't actually need money. We need each other, because money does nothing. People do everything. And that starts to change the consciousness and the view and the outlook of people, wherever they may be. And I think after 17 years of traveling the world, especially the last 14 years, I've traveled more than 30 countries of the world. I've done more than probably 500 lectures or more in probably more than 300, 400 cities around the world, and all on Ubuntu and One Small Town, and on obviously the origins of humankind and the ancient civilizations, because it's all connected. You see, you can't separate One Small Town from the origins of humankind, because the One Small Town idea came from realizing how we've been lied to about our origins and our history. So this is all connected, and here we are, 17 years later. The One Small Town idea has now caught on. We have ambassadors in many, many countries. And even just this morning, I got a message from our ambassador in Croatia that they have just signed up the first town and the first mayor and the first municipality in Croatia, One Small Town initiative. But I will let you come in here. Otherwise, I'll talk for the next 2 hours.
No, I'm loving this. And really, our guests actually are here to listen to you. And what you're saying is absolutely so true. And it strikes every chord within my being about the way that we should be moving forward. Because what I'm seeing with you is that you, through your expertise, knowledge, wisdom, passion, all of these amazing qualities that you clearly have taken that and found ancient ways. You know, you've gone back to the ancient truths of our planet. You've understood how to use those ancient tools in the modern day world. And as you so correctly say, you cannot fight the system. It's too entrenched. People are too mind controlled. They are too enslaved by the current system. So it really takes trailblazers like yourself to consistently and passionately, really carve out a new pathway for us. And from what I'm seeing, it really is amazing. I love the concept. I love the fact that you've discovered what you have. I love the books you've written. I love what you're sharing with the world. And I think it is so valuable. And I love what you're doing, I mean, with the One Small Towns, just the concept. But I have a question for you as well. Yeah, I see you're saying now in Croatia as well, which is amazing. But from what I've seen, we've started here in Kuruman in South Africa, in Texas as well as Lebanon. So I want to know about Kuruman, because anyone who doesn't know South Africa won't know that Kuruman is a little place like in the middle of nowhere. And I really want to understand why Kuruman, although I'm sure, like I'm a Karoo girl, right? In the Karoo, we have so many ancient, the Bushman paintings and all of those amazing sacred areas as well. So I'm sure that Kuruman would be very pertinent as well. So I'm very interested to hear about that.
Well, Chantelle, the important thing is the people to understand that I've been the last 6 years or 7 years now, since 2016, we've been promoting the One Small Town initiative. That became our primary objective, is to get one mayor somewhere in the world to understand how simple this model is, how simple it is to implement it. It's going to take work. It's going to take passion. It's going to take commitment. It is got the word small in it, One Small Town, but it's a very big idea that encompasses every aspect of our society, every aspect of our community. Everyone is invited. Everyone is included. It's voluntary for people to participate. No one is forced to do anything. And yet, through this incredible fluid participation model and cooperation and collaboration model, we create unprecedented prosperity and the foundation for prosperity and abundance for everyone in that community. So I've been introducing the One Small Town idea to mayors across the world, from all over Europe, our surrounding countries, Botswana, Namibia, Zimbabwe, Swaziland, Lesotho, South Africa, obviously. I've met with several mayors in South Africa and our neighboring countries over the last 6-7 years, presented the plan to them, explained to them that they don't need to put anything in. They don't need money to start this. They don't need knowledge or expertise to start this. They need nothing except to say, yes, I want to invite and attract investors into our community. Because that's in essence what One Small Town is. For the community to organize itself, present a solid platform of cooperation and collaboration and unity within community, which attracts investors. That's in a nutshell. 20-second elevator pitch, right? And so there's no danger for the mayor to lose money or to do something weird and crazy. All the mayor has to do is to promote the idea and be the flag bearer and the voice for the idea. So it's been a very interesting journey to realize how scared people in power and politics and government and mayors and councils, how scared they are. They are so scared of doing something that might get them fired or being chastised by the higher authorities. And it took all these years to find the first mayor in South Africa and in the world, alongside the first mayor in Lebanon, who more or less at the same time were the first two mayors in the world to say, wow, I like this idea. I think this is fantastic for my people, fantastic for our municipality, and I want to implement this because I can lose nothing. Even if the entire thing is a complete disaster, it doesn't work. When I say complete disaster, let me qualify this. It's impossible for it to be a complete disaster, because all we're doing is cooperating, collaborating to grow stuff and build stuff and create stuff. So, at least we're trying. So even if for some reason the model doesn't work, at least the mayor can say, well, I've tried something new. We have tried something. It cost us anything. We didn't bankrupt the coffers of the municipality or the council, and we tried to create something. But obviously we know that it does work, it is going to work, and it has worked in very small models that we've tried in various other places with community projects and the One Small Town project in Canada in 2017. So we've learned a great deal over the years. We are now here, and Mayor Queen Mogat, who's the executive mayor of the John Taolo Gaetswe municipality. It's the district municipality that then encompasses the municipality of Kuruman and the two surrounding municipalities. So it's the entire district that is now embraced and is implementing the One Small Town model. And it is so exciting to have found a mayor in South Africa that saw it, that understands it, and that has bought it 100%. So between the executive mayor and the three mayors in the area, plus the councillors, the municipal managers, the speakers of the councils and so forth, there's so much excitement in that Kuruman area now that it is now their project. No one can take it away from them. It's their project. They're doing it whether you like it or not. So it doesn't matter what happens to me now. That's it. The deal is done. And the same is happening in Lebanon, in a beautiful ancient town called Ras El Matan, with our ambassador called Fayez Mukarim, who's driving the initiative there, who's just a spectacular place to start One Small Town. It's an ancient historic town on the coast, about 10,000 people. So in some ways, I'm envious of Fayez in Lebanon, because he's got a much smaller model to cope with, to deal with. It's a lot easier to launch One Small Town in a town of 10,000 people, because the whole Kuruman area is 250 kilometers in diameter. It's a huge, vast area with about 300,000 population. So although we got very excited about the first mayor in the world in South Africa, it also comes with a big challenge. Okay, we're now doing this in Kuruman. We're laying the foundation for the blueprint and the blueprint for all future One Small Towns between this and Lebanon. So we better do this right. So obviously, any new initiative like this, or any new initiative, any new business, always takes a lot more effort than you initially visualize, right? Your enthusiasm and your excitement always thinks, oh, yes, we're going to do it. And you don't really realize how much work and how much effort it's going to take to get this thing off the ground. So we're right in that space right now where we are preparing the ground to launch the One Small Town initiative. So I need to qualify this for people that are watching this. So when we talk about launches, there are various launches. There's the media launch. There's a press release launch. There's the official launch of the initiative that the mayor makes the public statement. And then there's the official, then there's a launch of the business plans. There's the launch of signing up the members to join the Kuruman One Small Town Cooperative. I'll come back and talk about that. So there are all these important milestones in the launch of the One Small Town initiative. You have to start all the different things and all the different cornerstones of the foundation for the whole initiative.
Yeah.
That's really what we're busy doing. And when the foundation is ready, then in essence, we'll be ready to launch the One Small Town model on its own website with its own little videos, with more statements from the mayor and the councillors and the people and the businessmen and the farmers and the traditional leaders, and a wonderful video with lots of little documentaries when we actually launch the One Small Kuruman to the world and the investors. So we're now preparing this groundwork and the foundation for that. And that's what I can now, go into more detail about what it is that we're doing so that we're eventually ready to launch this. And the same is happening in Lebanon. And as I said, this morning, I just got a message from our Croatian ambassador to say that the first mayor and municipality in Croatia is ready to go. I must tell you that in South Africa, we have at least 5 other municipalities that have already approached us that want to implement this. But we've put everything on hold until we launch Kuruman, because we can't multitask. Keep in mind that we're doing this with very little money. We're doing this with money from patrons that support the Ubuntu office, support the One Small Town office. So we're doing this with my money that I make every month from my book sales. So I've put my blood, sweat, and tears and every cent I've ever earned into making this thing a reality over many, many years. And then we so this is how we're launching it. So it's a very exciting time to be alive and to be part.
I read when I was reading up on it. I love what someone had written on one of the sites I was looking at. It just says Ubuntu movement has a simple plan to turn our small towns into places of abundance and prosperity for all the people, where there are no hurdles or restrictions on personal growth of the people. I mean, I think that says it all, because it's so true what you're saying. Money has definitely been such a controlling factor, and I'm putting it nicely there. I'm being kind about it. We understand exactly how, as you say, the problems have arisen because people are fearing to get involved because they're going to lose their jobs, or they're going to be seen as being crazy, or just, it's amazing how many people choose to be followers and follow the money type thing, rather than be the trailblazers like yourself, who's prepared to actually say, let's do it, and then create what you're doing. But I love that it's about relationships, because we understand we are human beings. We are about connecting with each other and building relationships. Every person you meet actually or have an interaction with is a relationship, whether it's intimate, business, family, whatever. So it's so important to connect on a human level and build these relationships, and to create what you are putting forward here, because that really is about being human. And that really, I think, is all about being, living the life that I think we are designed to live. And it's our birthright to live beautiful lives and connect with each other and create together. and do exactly what you are um, putting forward here for us all to prosper, which is really, really an amazing idea. So I think that's incredible.
The important thing to add to what you're saying is that the One Small Town initiative is completely embroiled and intermingled with highly spiritual principles.
Yeah.
It moves away from the dark, um, the seven deadly sins. Greed, gluttony, envy, all those. It's the antithesis. It's the opposite to that. Plus,
Yeah.
in the One Small Town model is already enshrined and encoded a solution for every single problem we face as the human race. Literally, any problem you can think of that is in our world, in our lives, in our municipalities, in our towns, any problem you can think of has a solution encoded in the One Small Town model. How do we take care of the elderly? How do we take care of the orphans? How do we fix our roads? How do we create better hospitals? How do we create better homes for ourselves? How do we make sure we got enough food for our families on the table? How do we get new alternative electricity? All these problems, all the questions that people have throughout life have solutions already. And we have those solutions in the One Small Town model. And that's what people find so exciting. So where are we now? We are now at a stage where we have just launched our membership signups in Kuruman and in Ras Al Mat in Lebanon. So we just now started to sign up members. What are we signing members for? We're signing members for the One Small Town Kuruman Cooperative. So what happens is we create a cooperative. Okay, this is really important. It has to be structures that work within the current system. We can't create something outside of the system. We're creating a system within the system that runs parallel to the system. It's as bizarre as
Totally.
it may sound.
I
So
get
we're
it
not fighting.
completely. You
Like I
use
said
their own,
earlier, we're
sorry, I was
using
going to
the
say,
tools.
you use their own tricks against them.
Yeah, exactly. So we're using the tools of enslavement as tools of liberation.
Yeah.
So we use everything. We can't fight anything. So we use the corporate structures. In South Africa and many countries around the world, a cooperative corporation or cooperative company is the best and most easiest to start and launch a cooperative that the people become members of and equal shareholders of. So that's it. So now we have the Kuruman Cooperative. And what happens when you become a member? You go online, you fill in the form, you sign up, you click the terms and conditions, agree. The moment you hit send, you're now a member and a shareholder, an equal shareholder of the One Small Town Kuruman Cooperative. What does that mean? It means that every business that we start as the cooperative, we as One Small Town come and we develop the business plans, we bring the business plans, we pitch it to the global investors with the cooperative members of the town owning 60% of those businesses. So you become a part owner and shareholder, equal shareholder in all the businesses that we start in the Kuruman area. You've done nothing.
Wow.
All you have to do is commit 3 hours a week. So the entire small town model is based on the fact that we create a powerful, united labor force where we all contribute equally. Right? So just because you're a surgeon doesn't mean you're going to contribute less because other people have to work harder. No. Everyone contributes equally. And by that, we mean everyone has to contribute 3 hours a week of their time towards one of the businesses or one of the community projects that we initiate in that town. And this town in South Africa is Kuruman. And when I say Kuruman, it's the greater area. So it's lots of like 200 villages across that whole area. So it's a big project. So
Wow.
now we're signing up members. We've just settled our task team leader, the driver of the One Small Town initiative in Kuruman, Michael Bachaka. He's just settled into his house. He's just buying furniture so he can move into his house and start running the projects and start signing up people. And together with the mayor and the various mayors and the councillors are going to go on a roadshow promoting One Small Town and signing up the members. So that's where we are. And that's levels of excitement. The executive mayor can't wait to get on the road. And it's literally it's almost like a political campaign, election campaign, where they go out and they promote the One Small Town initiative, tell the people the benefits, how they can become co-owners of all these businesses that we're going to start. And all they have to do is contribute 3 hours a week. Now, that sounds wonderful, but now you're going to start thinking about, well, how are you going to manage all of this? How do we know when someone is a member? How do we know when they've contributed 3 hours a week? Where do they go to contribute their 3 hours a week? How do we let them know where they should go? So now you start realizing, oh my goodness, this is a huge thing. And out of this, for the past 6 months, we've now been building the systems and the foundation and the platforms based on blockchain technology, the most advanced, sophisticated databases and data registries and so forth, membership structures, membership cards that are connected to a central database that is connected to a new cryptocurrency that we had to create so that we can control and manage the movement of the people to know if someone has contributed their 3 hours a week and what do they then do, what happens with after they've contributed their four 3 hours a week sessions in 1 month, right? What happens then? What are the benefits they get? So that's what we're busy doing. And we are so close to launching this now. We have now achieved the fact that we can now start sign up members. So that's a huge achievement. So that means that any future One Small Town, that system is now in place where we can launch immediately and start signing up members, and we don't have to wait anymore to develop the system.
This is truly amazing. I mean, I'm sitting here and I'm getting all truly excited about this concept. And I'm wondering, I mean, for someone like, let's say, the rest of us, and not just South Africans, we've got a lot of international followers as well. So let's say I wanted to get my, and I live on the Garden Route, beautiful area of the planet. So let's say I wanted to get my community or my mayor involved in this. What would be something that me as a normal layman citizen can do to get our people involved?
Okay, that is the $1 million question right now, because we don't want any more mayors and we don't want any more municipalities until we've launched Kuruman. Please understand that we can't.
We're on standby, though. We're on standby.
Yeah, just know that it's coming. Just know as soon as we launch Kuruman, and that could happen probably by the end of October, November. We keep pushing it out because we realize that there's a lot more foundation to build, and the foundation is really strong. We can't mess this up. So we have to do it right. We have to do it once. We have to do it well, and we have to do it right. We don't want to go back and fix problems that we could have done better in the beginning. So we're doing everything right now as well as we possibly can, building a strong foundation that every future One Small Town will benefit from and can just jump in, use the systems, use the blockchain technology, use the token reward system we're creating, our own cryptocurrency that is very different from any other cryptocurrency on earth. We must talk about this so people understand how powerful and important this is.
Absolutely. That was definitely. Sorry to interrupt you. I think we've got a bit of a lag here. That was definitely my next line of questioning there, and I think that's amazing. So basically, what you're telling us at the moment: sit tight. We're creating awareness around this. We want the world, not just South Africa, but the world to get excited about this concept, so that when we launch in Kuruman, we have the complete model intact, and we can then build on that. Of course, I'm sure there will always be some little teething problems here and there, but together as a unified force, we can then work together and make it happen. So basically, right now,
the key thing about this, Chantelle, is a relative latecomer to the One Small Town model. And again, this is why I now firmly believe that this entire process and my journey and my participation in this is absolutely divinely guided. This is not my plan. This is a divine plan that somehow I'm a channel for this divine plan. The ideas come to me in my dreams. I wake up in the middle of the night. I go, oh my God, this is a solution for this. I come to my desk and I start writing this. I type solutions and plans, and then go back to sleep. And the next morning I wake up and I go, wow, where did that come from? That's exactly what we needed. So this is not something that you can conjure up through ego or trying to be clever or smart. This is a divinely guided principle that started in 2000. It's a calling. It started in 2005. And for some reason, I've managed to stick to it. Somehow I've managed to survive. I was very fortunate that I wrote some books that made me a lot of money. All that money went into this. It allowed me to travel the world, do these lectures, create a huge global awareness. And now we're at this point where we are putting this into practice. So it's
Wow.
something
What a
that is,
joy.
it's 2 decades of my life. So let's
Thank
carry
you.
on so that the listeners can understand and the viewers can understand the complexity, the simplicity, but yet the complexity, to make sure that when we launch and when it starts to work, that the simplicity of the model is supported by this complex foundation that works like clockwork. We've got the technology. We've got to use the technology. If we don't, then we are our own worst enemies. And that's literally what we're doing right now, putting in all the
Absolutely.
systems. So right now, as we speak, my partners in Pretoria and Johannesburg and some of our members around the world are putting in blockchain technologies. We're building our own blockchain. In the meantime, we're using existing blockchains that are well recognized, well respected, to launch our cryptocurrencies. So we don't have to wait for our own blockchains. We're creating a central, what we call One Small Town platform, a data intelligence platform that connects to the blockchain. That platform becomes our trading platform to sell our tokens, to sell our investor tokens, sorry, to sell our infinity tokens. Let me go back a little bit. So we created through the need to be able to control who has contributed their 3 hours a week, who hasn't contributed their 3 hours a week, and so forth. We are putting that computer system, that blockchain technology system, the card membership system in place, so we know exactly who's contributed and who hasn't contributed. And what happens if someone hasn't arrived for their 3 hours a week? What happens? So there are all these contingency plans. How do you catch up with contributing more 3 hours a week? So you can imagine this is a complex thing to put together. It's very
Yes.
simple in its idea, but it's complex to manage. You have
Yes.
to be able to manage this so that people have a sense of knowing that it runs, that it's fair and just for everybody. Because you don't want some people doing all the work and others just sitting loafing, and yet everybody wants to benefit from the profits and the food and the produce that we manufacture, right? So
Absolutely.
and as I speak, I realize that I'm jumping around so much that people that don't know One Small Town are probably going to be very confused.
I think it's
From
quite simple. I really think it's quite. I think you've put it very very clearly and very concisely.
I do want to come back to one thing here. So just quickly, for people that are completely new to this, a very quick overview of what happens once you sign up as a member. So you sign up as a member, you pledge 3 hours a week, and that makes you an equal shareholder of 60% of all the businesses. And this is very important, 60%. So the community, as the cooperative and the people of that town, own 60%, a majority shareholding of all the businesses we start, which makes it impossible in future to large corporations to come in and dominate our town like large
Yeah.
corporations have done in the past, to come and exploit our towns, use people as slave labor. We can now choose who we're going to invite in as an investor. We as the community have a say. Sorry, we don't want you as an investor. We don't like you, Mr. Gates. No, thank you very much. Go somewhere else, right? And so we can exclude people who we don't trust around the world, who may have ulterior motives. We don't allow them to invest in our businesses because we choose who the investors are going to be into our own businesses. That's a very powerful position to be in for any community.
Absolutely.
So
It
just
really
as a
is.
yeah. Then once
It
you
really
start up, you pledge 3 hours a week. So now we have a plan. Every business needs a certain bunch of stuff done. The blockchain, the database system, and all that will work out exactly who we need where and how many, what job needs to be done in what business and so forth. The top management of every business is obviously managed by the best possible skills and experts in that business. We're not saying our volunteers are going to run and manage the businesses. No, no, no. We find the best possible managers and top management structure to run every business. And the rest of the work, whether it's the reception work, the security, the driving, the accounting, the PR, the IT, everything else is done by our own people, right? We don't need specialized people in that business because those are basic skills that can operate in any business. So the
absolutely.
rest of the
So
businesses are run by our people. That means we save in each one of those businesses, we save anything between 50 to 80% on labor costs because we as the people work in our own businesses for free. That
Yeah.
means the of those businesses are much larger than any other business of that kind in a normal capitalist model. So that's what attracts the investors because they go, wow, my labor costs are going to be so much lower than if I had to start this business anywhere else. If I start this business in a one small town environment, I'm going into partnership with an entire community. I'm going into partnership with 60,000 people or 10,000 people, my partners. So they obviously going to work in many of the jobs in my business. They're going to work that for free because they are the co-owners of that business. They own 60% of it. And so they know labor disputes. They know none of those problems that we face in the capitalist model. No, no striking and toying and any of that stuff because the people work in their own businesses. And if they don't,
When we look,
they can change it.
when we look at something like this, I understand what you're saying, that all the businesses involved, everyone is connected to it, and everyone profits from that. So I've got like a two-phase question here. So are you saying that, let's say, people can come to you with their skills, their business ideas, concepts, whatever that they think would match what you would be doing, and you would look into that to see how that can be incorporated and managed, or whatever the case might be? And then secondly, okay, well, let me just ask you that first. So
Yeah,
would
the
it be...
answer to that is yes. Yes. So, but that's phase 2 and phase 3. The first phase is to start big businesses that make big money and that hopefully employ even 10% of the people that would normally be employed in that business. So we create instant employment. We create instant large businesses that turn over 100 million or more per annum. We're talking, it's got to be, we got to look at large businesses. So we have a formula. The formula is that any town of 10,000 people should be turning over R1 billion or more. It could be up to 10 or 20 billion rand. 10,000 people should be turning over R1 billion or more per annum. So we need to put in the kind of businesses as cornerstones to achieve that target. Whether it's a glass factory or a cement factory or a bakery or a dairy or cattle farming or mealies or wheat or what, or plastic, recycling, any kind of business that you can think of that can fit into that town, that has the right environment, that have the right facilities, etc. We do a business, we put it into that model. And
are we also looking, especially when we're looking at Africa and South Africa, that has been so raped by the powers that be, just in terms of our mining, our resources and stuff like that. So now my question is, if we're moving forward in a more holistic way, where well-being is obviously would be the center for everyone.
Yes, the answer to that is yes. Let me anticipate your question. Health and wellness is one of the stones of our community. We have technology. We know how to cure diseases. We know how to cure pretty much all diseases, including cancer. But now you got to be very sensitive about this. Anyone that comes out with a cure for cancer gets taken out or killed by the big pharma industry. Just like anyone that comes with new technology that threatens the petroleum industry or anything gets killed or taken out or bribed or or whatever. So understand, we know all the stuff. So we're not going to go out there and start, making claims that we can do this and we can do that. So these are sensitive subjects, sensitive areas, and most people are not familiar with this. Understand that the percentage of spiritually conscious, aware people in an average town don't necessarily understand that we can cure all these diseases. They trapped in their mindset in believing that a hospital is where you go to when you're sick, and that a doctor knows best. Well, by now we should know that a doctor doesn't always know best, and hospitals are not places that cure people. So we know this. So we have plans. So understand, the people behind One Small Town are highly knowledgeable, highly aware, and have access to a diverse number of solutions in all these areas that I've mentioned. I'm not even going to mention by name again because that alone is dangerous. So,
and I'm thinking about stuff as well. For me, it's stuff like raping our our planet with the mining and the way that it's been done. I would imagine and I would hope that there would be people that could put things into place that we can curb that, where it's done in a more respectful way. We understand Africa,
So,
for example.
Chantelle, what you're doing is you jump in the gun here a little bit. What happens with the one small town model? But it's fine. What you're doing is you're asking all the frequently asked questions because
Yeah,
you're new to this. So, you're asking the frequently asked questions that I've dealt with thousands and thousands of times. That question that you've asked is one of the 13 frequently asked questions. So, and once you start to immerse yourself in the one small town model, you'll be able to answer that question yourself. You'll know exactly what the answer is. And that's when I said earlier that we have a solution for every problem that you can possibly think of, because it comes from the one small town model. Keep in mind that as we bring in new technologies, new initiatives, new businesses, new materials, new scientists, new inventors that have been suppressed, we now give them a platform to come be creative and invent and create, and so forth. Every one of these problems gets solved. The reason why we mine the things we mine is because of industrial greed and the need to keep supplying the society with the materials that we have developed due to the industrial revolution, for the society that we live in today. That's going to start changing. We're going to find new materials that are probably based on graphene and hemp and other silica, carbon, hemp, graphene combinations,
great.
and other inventions that we know the
We don't,
materials that have solutions for the world.
yeah,
We don't steal. We can use other materials, but that's jumping the gun. So I can't talk about this right now. Okay. You're talking at a much higher level of consciousness. Right now, we're dealing with a base survival foundational needs to launch one small town. And I'd like to stick to that, if I may. Understanding that
absolutely.
we're going to the high levels of consciousness where all the dirty, ugly stuff that has destroyed and raped our world will slowly but surely disappear from our reality, because we're going to replace it with new alternatives. So we don't have to fight it. Because if you go and tell the people we're going to close all the mines down, you're going to have a riot.
You can't. You can't. You
You can't.
can't.
So you first have to create an alternative
Yeah.
by creating so much food agriculture activity, which is number one in the one small town model, is always agriculture, food, water, shelter, healthcare, right? That's it. And from that comes education in its own way, in any way, and knowledge.
Which
We
of course, I mean, I wanted to touch on, but obviously I'm well aware we have solutions. But if we're looking at the education system, and not just the shocking disarray in which our education system's in, I'm more talking about what we're being educated with. So the way I'm thinking is, again, this would no doubt include new ways of educating people of the truth of what's really been
Absolutely,
happening. So that would also
absolutely,
take time, no doubt. I mean, it would really take time, and it's like the 100 monkey syndrome, just
yes,
gathering that momentum, and as we
yeah.
gather it, so people, it becomes more natural to go back to your original roots, kind of thing, in a modern day world, which is ultimately what this is about, right?
Ultimately, so remember, as I mentioned earlier, the one small town model is a highly spiritual, highly conscious plan and a model. But you can't introduce it on that level. You have to introduce it on a level of the daily
Absolutely.
needs of the people. You can't go and preach spiritual high, mantra meditation to people that are worried about how they're going to put bread on the table and how they're going to have a meal and a warm bed every day.
Sure.
Talk that. You need to first deal with the most fundamental basic needs that majority of the people around the world face every day. And that's what the one small town model does. It starts on that very basic level that provides and brings answers and solutions to the people, the masses that are in
Hmm.
desperate need of solutions. They need hope. People around the world are deeply depressed.
Yeah.
Majority of global population today is in a deep depression because they don't see any hope for the future. And
Exactly.
start telling them, well, if you meditate and you follow spiritual practices, you'll feel much better. That's not going to work. We're
Yeah.
doing that. We are going to do that. And it's part of the one small town model. It always has been and it always will be. But for those that are ready to embrace that, majority of the people want to know, well, am I going to earn enough money to buy bread and milk and milli meal? And
Sure.
will I have enough money to pay electricity? And will I have enough money to buy some clothes and shoes? I haven't bought new shoes for 20 years. You know what I mean? So these are the basic things. So we're dealing with the fundamentals first. So,
Yeah.
at this stage, and that's why it's in some way it's difficult to do interviews about this because we're busy with this hardcore, ugly slave mentality matrix to break through that and build the foundations that the people that are desperate and they desperately looking for hope and something to believe in and something that they know will bring solutions. Once people see the one small town model, no matter who they are, where they are around the world, and I know this because I've traveled far and wide enough and shared this with enough people around the world to know that when the people find and discover the one small town model, they feel like that you've lifted this lid of a pressure cooker. They suddenly feel relief that there is a light at the end of this dark tunnel, that there are solutions, that if we start working towards this, and when we start working towards this, we will create the solution. So the one small town model and the idea brings a lot of joy and a lot of hope and excitement to many people. And that's what we're doing with right now, to share the message, to get the people to come out of their depression, out of their negative thinking, and realize that all of this is possible. We can have the best sports facilities. We can have the best theaters. We can have the best hospitals. We can have the most advanced and the best food and the most advanced technology. We can have the largest food growing fields in agriculture. We can have everything you have ever dreamt of, but we have to do it together as a united front. We will never if we work separately. And it's that act of presenting a united front to the investors around the world, and especially the conscious investors, that we will attract those investors into our community. And the reason why is because first of all, there are millions and millions of conscious investors. And every day, more and more rich people with money are waking up and realizing, oh my God, I'm screwed. Because the world is so screwed up. There are no more safe places for me to invest in. Because everything is corrupt. Everyone everywhere is trying to run away with your money or do you in. So it's become a very difficult thing for people with money to invest into things that they feel confident in. One small town presents that kind of environment. That's really important to try and understand here. I believe, I'm telling you right now, the moment we launch one small town and the conscious investors or the conscious and rich people around the world see this, they'll go, oh my God, this is it. This is going to become the new investment frenzy for people with money around the world to find the next small town to partner with and go and fund all the businesses to launch as a minority shareholder. And this has never happened before. Normally, investors will always want to be the majority shareholder. In this case, they'll be happy to be the minority shareholder, let the community take 60% because the community is doing all the work. And the community is providing the future stability for my investments and my children and a beautiful world and a beautiful life of prosperity and abundance. Because if I don't do this as a rich person right now, if I don't help the small town, I'm just creating more poverty, more misery, more horrible future for my children and my grandchildren. And that's what I believe is going to happen with the conscious, rich millionaires and investors around the world. One small town is going to become the thing that triggers their mind and realize, oh my God, I can turn this town into paradise.
It's going to be one big world. One small town becomes one big world.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, Michael, I couldn't think of a better note on which to end this interview because I think that is really very positive. I think it's a great, amazing, incredible idea, and I know there's so much more to it. Um, so, I would just like to end off by really just reaffirming that if we want to get involved, we just really got to spread awareness right now. We're waiting for the major launch of Kuruman, which could happen at any point. And once that's launched, we can then start getting our own communities involved, hopefully, dragging our own mayors by the ears to participate and cooperate with that which is truly right. Wow, thank you so much. Really, really, really appreciate your time. I'm not sure if there's anything else you'd just like to say in closing to our viewers.
Well, Chantelle, I think important thing is that just go to our website. Anyone interested, go to onesmalltown.org. Watch the videos, read the information, sign up as a non-resident member. So become a member.
So we can sign up already. Okay, cool.
Yeah, you can we'll sign up as a non-resident member. Yeah. So we have you on the database, and you can sign up as an organic farmer or a non-resident member, and so you're on the database. So if we're looking for someone who knows how to do whatever, we'll look at the database and say, okay, well, here's someone in Canada or in Australia or in Brazil that knows how to do this. We need such and such a person in Lebanon or in Kuruman or somewhere else. And as soon as there's not going to be a shortage of towns and municipalities. This thing's going to go crazy, and we've got a lot of interest all over the world. So we're putting everything on hold until we've launched Kuruman and Lebanon. So that's it. So learn as you can about it. And if you have any kind of technology or knowledge or expertise or health initiatives or discoveries in curing disease, if you have anything that you feel can contribute towards the foundation of the One Small Town model, then please reach out to us. First, sign up as a member, put that information in there, and then send an email to me and our webmaster, Helene, and we'll reach out, we'll respond to you to see if what you've got can help set up some of the foundations of the One Small Town model that will then be used everywhere else.
Really look forward to that coming into fruition, Michael. And thank you so much for everything you're doing. It's really a pleasure to meet someone like yourself who's so passionate and clearly heeding the call. So thank you so much. God bless you for that.
Thanks, Chantelle. Till next time.
Yeah, indeed. And I want to just say thank you so much to all our viewers for watching. And as Mornay was just posted the link to your website there. We'll post the links in the description area as well. So, wow, thank you so much. This is so wonderful to know that there's this going on and we can all get involved, not just in one area, but literally all over the world. It's really about the conscious-minded community understanding that we're going to do it for ourselves. No one is coming to save us. We're the ones that have got to be in our sovereign freedom, uniting with each other and creating exactly what is happening here. And I'm so proud that you're a fellow South African, Michael. And I read your book many years ago, Slave Species of God. It was given to me as a gift. And I want to tell you, probably one of the most interesting, fascinating reads ever. So thank you for your contribution to the world, really. And I mean, thank you. So take care of yourself. God bless you all. Until next time, see you soon.